you know, I had no desire or even thought to become an entrepreneur. I was just really trying to become a very good consultant, learn as much as I possibly could about this tech stuff and this internet stuff and become very good. And going kind of back to sports is the reason I actually became an entrepreneur in the first place. My coach, University of Cincinnati, he had asked me, Brian Cleary, he had asked me to create a system for them to manage their current players, former players, and recruits. At the time, they had three or maybe four distributed systems, and he had four logins, and it was just a lot of extra work. And he had asked me, "Is there some way of being able to take all this content and just put it in one system?" And I was like, "Yeah, I can do that for you. That's no problem." And yeah, I created it, and it was so funny because we call him BC. BC, his response was very funny. He was like, I was demoing it to him, what I created, and I created it on my off time for him, and he was like, "Ant, you created this?" Like he was totally surprised that I was able to make something like that. And in my mind, I'm like, dude, that's what I do. But it's actually kind of funny. But then his next comment was the thing that catapulted me to become an entrepreneur. He said, dude, you can sell this. He was like, I know several, athletic departments that could use something like this. And I said, really? And he said, yeah, you can make some money on this. And that the light bulb came on from an entrepreneur. And same thing with computer science. I wasn't fortunate enough to grow up in an environment where I was around people that owned things, businesses, assets even. That's a different topic. But it's one of those things where like I just never, in my mind at the time, you had to go to Harvard or Yale or Princeton to be a business owner for some reason, and I don't know why I thought that, but that's what it was for me. It just wasn't something that I thought I could even do, but it was that challenge, right? It was that. So so after I ended up, you know, taking what he had said, changing the system a little bit to make it a little more generic. I ended up selling it to a couple different athletic departments. And then 17 months later, I ended up selling the company.